Greetings people, today I'm reading more of Coastal Bunny's comic, Food for Thought. To get exclusive content from Coastal Bunny, like the latest version of their game, you can support them on Patreon.
I'm done. I can't eat anymore. Oh, what a shame. It looked like you could actually do it there for a minute. I was worried I wouldn't get to eat a piece. Looks like I finally get to cheat on my diet. Thanks a lot, Jill.
Alexa's strategy to get Jill to fill herself to near capacity had worked flawlessly. As Alexa reached for the final piece, Jill quickly slapped the top of Alexa's hand away.
Ouch, hey, what was that for? You can't have it.
Jill shot back a look of determination and defiance. It took a few minutes, but Jill managed to do it. After panting heavily for a few moments after, she asked for some help getting up from the chair.
Summer school, haha, here we come.
Alexa knew her plan to fatten up Jill was working. She only wished she had more time. After finals week, Jill would be going home for summer. That's when it hit Alexa. She needed to convince Jill to retake her failed classes during the summer. That sounds like a good idea. And that concludes part 2. Anyone else excited for part 3? Of course I'm excited for it.
I'm just saying, if we ask nicely, I bet we can get those underclassmen guys to buy us beer. Okay, you can ask them. I don't want any.
Jill had gotten bored watching Alexa run laps around the school's track and had gone to get a frozen treat instead. Alexa had enjoyed the time without Jill's constant motivation. However, while she was done running for now, Jill was going to have her sprint up the stairs of the stadium once she was done catching her breath.
Why not? Don't like it. I didn't like beer at first, but after a while, it kinda got okay. Wait, have you, never had beer? Like at all? No. I never drank in high school, or last year.
Alexa was frankly dumbstruck Jill would be outside in something so revealing and clearly a few sizes too small for her. It was like she didn't really notice she was plumping up. Or maybe she just didn't care. It had been almost 3 weeks since Jill's huge pizza stuffing, and almost a week since Fine was ended.
Haha, why not? It feels great. Stop it.
Start of part 3.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. It's okay.
Jill dropped her ice cream as she gagged, realizing the blunder she made. This was the kind of behavior that gave Alexa the determination to stick to her fattening revenge plan.
No, it's not okay, but it will be. This summer, I promise. I'm not sure I want your help. Our neighbors look cute. I bet at least one of them is into bigger girls. Why do you have to say it like that? Fine. I'm sure one of them wouldn't mind porking a fatty. Better? Gosh, that was 1,000 times worse. You're so gross. I'm not as innocent as I look, you know. Oh, I know. Look, I'll drink a little bit with you this summer if you promise not to push me into anything I'm not comfortable with, okay?
Alexa gave Jill a quick shove. Jill stumbled backwards, surprisingly off balance, but quickly recovering.
Deal. Now let's go talk to those upperclassmen. But what about running the steps?
Alexa noticed Jill's jiggle up and down in response. Jill really should have worn a more modest top.
This is more important. Just run home and get your sweaty bottom in the shower. I'll meet you there.
As Alexa started to jog, she watched as Jill began to leisurely walk back to the apartment. It was actually the kind of laziness that would make this summer the last one Jill spent as a thin girl. Polaris Dreamer wrote it best in his story. Well, to be fair, Jill wasn't exactly thin anymore. She looked more athletically thin. So to rephrase, this would be the last summer spent as a non-fat girl. True to her boasting, later that day, Jill was able to convince their summer neighbors to provide the roommates with refreshments for the summer. Their summer accommodations were a huge step up from their dumpy freshman dorm room. They now had access to a full upperclassman apartment. The apartment was designed for 3 students, but Alexa and Jill were never assigned a roommate. Access to a furnished kitchen gave Alexa another pretty useful tool in her war to ruin Jill's body. Alexa made it her goal to bake Jill one cake a night. Unless Jill answered Alexa's practice quizzes perfectly, Jill would have to gobble up the whole thing. Alexa didn't really need to do anything else to get Jill to overeat. Jill had grown accustomed to having a stuffed belly, and she obviously liked being full. To celebrate the beginning of summer school, Jill convinced Alexa to attend a party that their new neighbors were hosting. The night came to a fairly tame close. While Jill was absolutely hammered, she stayed true to her boyfriend and didn't cheat on him with Joey. Alex was actually surprised by that. Alexa had stayed true to her word too. Beer tasted awful, but she did kind of feel buzzed for the first time. I've run the numbers. A cake a day, even a small 6-inch one from a grocery store, has around 1,800 calories. That cake looks a bit larger than a 6-inch cake, though. That's more like 18 million calories. The night came to a fairly tame close. All in all, Alexa was pleased with herself and her roommate. For once, Jill didn't ruin it for her in some way. Alexa finished off the night brushing her teeth before climbing into bed.
Do you need a hand or something? You know this is my room. Can I just sleep with you tonight?
What? As Alexa was preparing to lie down, Jill clumsily made her way into Alexa's room. Alexa cracked a smile as she stared at the far too tight clothes wrapped around Jill's swollen hips. Jill was far too drunk to notice which direction Alexa's eyes were facing.
Okay, sure.
Alexa's mind began working in overdrive as she eyed Jill's pillowing frame. She momentarily lost her train of thought as she absent-mindedly attempted to come up with a way of taking Jill shopping for new clothes that she didn't quite realize what she had agreed to. That right there. That's the body of an athlete. About 3 weeks into the summer session, Alexa realized that something had to be done about Jill's clothes. Jill's body seemed to be steadily growing. Her soft stomach seemed to have expanded an inch or so, and her arms were beginning to grow a little more ample. Jill had the beginnings of a double chin, while her thunder thighs and her chubby cheeks kept expanding. These were admittedly small changes, but Alexa was becoming very attuned to them. Jill really didn't have any clothes left that fit, which could pose a problem. Alexa did not want Jill's wall of willful ignorance about her weight to come crashing down. Not yet, anyway. So one day Alexa offered to do Jill's laundry, and absolutely shredded her clothes on purpose. She'd picked a weekend when Jill had started drinking with Doug, Matt, and Joey pretty early in the day. Upon hearing about her clothes, Jill was very upset. But Alexa blamed the washing machine and insisted they buy new clothes instead. At the clothing store, Alexa made sure to help Jill choose loose-fitting clothes to replace her wardrobe, and Jill mostly did, beside a single pair of jeans and a cute black dress. Because of Jill's drunken state, she didn't pay any attention to the enlarged sizes that Alexa was pulling for her.
And if you want him to notice you, heck, as more than a friend, just repeat after me. You have a real cute smile, stud muffin. Now say it just like I did.
While they were out shopping, Alexa had let slip to Jill that she was beginning to have a crush on Joey. Jill thought it was the cutest thing. Alexa didn't understand why she thought it was cute, but she let it go. It felt like the roommates were bonding for a change. The rest of the week fell into a routine that was pretty typical of the summer so far. First, the roommates would wake up pretty late, but just in time for class. Jill would gobble down donuts for breakfast, while Alexa was restricted to granola or fruit. After class, the girls would get lunch, normally pizza, and Jill would make a pig of herself. Afterward, they would head home, do all their homework. Jill would study and snack, and then Alexa would exercise. Alexa had to admit that she no longer hated exercising. Sure, it was difficult because of her size, but she'd finally conditioned her lungs and body to be able to bear it. It was actually relaxing most of the time. After their time apart was finished, the girls would meet up for dinner, usually prepared by Alexa to be extra fattening for Jill, and Jill would chow down on cake afterward. Well, I guess that's all for the moment. Once again, make sure to support Coastal Bunny on their Patreon so you can get amazing exclusive content from them. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.